Did your college freshman come home this winter with failing grades, maybe one class, maybe two, and now you're worried about what this means for their future? Take a deep breath. It feels scary, but there is a clear path forward, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly what parents can do next. Hi, I'm Dr. T, your professor on your side. I'm a career educator, former literacy director and college professor, and I specialize in the high school to college transition. So, today we're going to tackle the emotional side, the academic side, the financial implications, and the concrete next steps, so you know how to help your. Before we start, a quick disclaimer. The information in this video is for general, educational, and informational purposes only. It does not constitute legal, financial, medical, or academic advising, and all views expressed are my own and do not represent any institution or employer. Always consult your student's college, financial aid office, or academic advisor for guidance specific to their situation. And all views expressed are my own and do not represent any institution or employer. And before we jump into logistics, policies, or plans, let's take a pause and talk about what's happening internally. A freshman who fails one or more classes often feels ashamed, embarrassed, or scared. And many will try to hide the truth or minimize it because they probably don't want to disappoint you. According to the American Health Association, about half of first-year students report significant stress, overwhelm, or difficulty adjusting to the demands of college. And when academics slip, those emotional responses intensify. As a parent, I want you to think about what you can say. How about, "Thank you for telling me. We're going to figure this out together." Now imagine your child comes to you and says, "This happened. They failed a class." You could start by saying, "Thank you for telling me. Let's figure this out together." Or, "This isn't the end of your college career. It's a moment for us to regroup." Or, "You're not in trouble, but we need to make a plan." Here's the thing. You kind of want to avoid launching into lectures. I would also avoid comparing them to other students or their siblings. And let's avoid making generalizations like you're not trying. This is an opportunity to figure out what's going on. Sleep habits, screen time and distraction patterns, social struggles. Is it roommates, loneliness, overwhelm? Are there mental health and wellness resources on campus? Because this emotional regulation is actually the foundation for academic recovery. Trust me. So let's talk about the academic impact. When a student fails one or more classes, several things happen behind the scenes. First, the GPA drops significantly and often below the threshold needed for good academic standing. This is commonly a 2.0. It may vary by college. Second, credit accumulation falls behind. A full-time freshman typically needs about 30 credits by the end of the first year, so failing courses can put them off sequence for graduation timelines. And third, degree progression can slow. So this might mean core classes or prerequisites and sequential courses may need to be repeated, which could have impact on financial aid and graduation progress. Are they major requirements? Are they prerequisites that block future courses? And are they typically offered only once per year? When are they offered? This will help your child to also have the right questions to ask their own advisor, so they could come up with a plan, because even one failed class can shift an entire schedule, and two or more actually often will trigger an academic status review and may have financial implications. And many parents don't realize this, that academic performance is not just an academic issue, it becomes a financial one. So it's really important to know that there are a couple of things that could be at risk. So it could mean federal financial aid, including loans, because the student needs to meet SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress, and that includes a minimum GPA, completing at least 67% of their attempted credits, and failing multiple classes could jeopardize this continued eligibility. It also could have implications on any scholarships they may have received. So any institutional scholarships they may have received may require a minimum semester GPA or a minimum cumulative GPA, full-time enrollment, and failing courses may put those scholarships and your child's scholarship on probation, right? And so that could be problematic in the future. And this may mean out-of-pocket costs for retaking courses. So even if financial aid covers them, retaking courses to extend the degree timeline. And so parents should help students ask the financial aid office, am I meeting SAP requirements, right? SAP requirements. What happens if I drop below full time? What is the appeal process if aid is suspended? How do retaking classes affect my aid package? So this is a chance for parents to help students ask the financial aid office, am I meeting SAP requirements? What happens if I drop below full time? What is the appeal process if aid is suspended? How do retaking classes affect my aid package? All of these questions will be vital in coming up with an appropriate plan. And your student's next step is all about meeting with their academic advisor or success coach, depending on what it's called at their school. It's not about getting lectured, but they need to come up with a recovery plan. And so you want to come up with those key questions to prepare. What is my current academic standing? That's a really big one. Is academic probation being applied? Which classes do I need to repeat? Can I take summer classes to catch up, right? These are really, really important. What resources do I need to use consistently? This is huge. We want to empower our students to understand there may be tutoring centers, writing centers, math support, wellness services, and academic coaching available to help them get back on track. And what I might recommend, especially with a student who has learning differences, it may be helpful to rehearse with them beforehand. Advise your student to come prepared to the meeting. I would, especially for students with learning differences, rehearse with them so that they come to the meeting prepared and confident. So I'm going to give you a general example, but please contact your specific institution. I'm just giving you an idea of what this might look like. So here's a general scenario of an academic recovery scenario that might look like for a student at a public liberal arts school. Let's say this freshman completes the fall semester and they fail 2 classes. One of them is Intro to Psychology, the other one's College Algebra. They earn 3 passing grades in their other classes, and they finish the semester with roughly 9 earned credits and a GPA below 2.0. This will typically trigger academic probation for the student. They will most likely be notified at some point during winter break. They will be required to meet with an academic advisor as soon as early spring, or every college will have their timeline. It may mean that the amount of credits they can take will be restricted, and they're going to set a GPA target to make sure they're moving in the right direction. And they may be required to use certain campus supports, right? Because it's going to be part of a plan. It may mean weekly tutoring, academic success workshops, meeting with a retention coach, right? Every college has their own flavor of this. And they may need to retake courses that may be a part of prerequisites they need to take for their intended major, right? So that's really, really important. If the student is not meeting SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress, federal aid may require an appeal. The student may be asked to write a statement explaining what happened and what has changed. There may be specific reasons, and so that's an opportunity to explain it. And approved appeals will come with an academic plan, okay? If a student continues to struggle through the spring, they may face continued probation and, in worst case scenarios, academic dismissal. If dismissed, they can typically submit an appeal, citing any documented changes, any new support structures, updates on medical or mental health documentation, an updated plan for success. And if reinstated, they return with very strict terms, because the truth is that colleges want to make sure that the student is on the path to success, and so it's a whole part of a framework, right? Ultimately, colleges want students to be successful, but there has to be a plan in place, right? So let's come up with a clear recovery plan with your student. Number 1, help your student create a plan across 4 buckets: emotional and behavioral habits, The first one I call emotional and behavioral habits. And this could include, and I'm just giving some examples, establishing sleep rhythms, reducing multitasking, adding structured study blocks, minimizing phone distractions. Then you have academic habits. Maybe it's weekly planner checks, opening the LMS together, reviewing missing assignments, building early communication habits with professors. And then the third one is those financial safeguards. So checking the SAP status, understanding what happens if probation continues, making a summer plan if needed, look at course repeat costs. Now, I want to say some colleges will allow a student to make up some courses at a community college. You may investigate, is that a possibility? If you have to retake Intro to Psychology, could it be taken at your local community college? It's a possibility, and it's worth investigating. Every college has their own requirements and expectations, so please don't take what I'm saying as the ultimate truth, but it's worth asking because sometimes those community college courses are less expensive, and so it's worth asking and figuring out if that would be possible, okay? The other piece is you want to look at, so we've talked about the financial piece, right? The making summer plans, the looking at course repeat costs. You also want to look at the fourth bucket, which is all about advising and scheduling decisions, and it's a big one. So your child really needs to understand that they have to prioritize those failed classes, okay? They want to make sure they recover. They also want to feel success, right? So maybe they retake it is it offered in January? Do they have an opportunity to take it during, some courses are offered during the fall and spring semester? Is it a chance for them to take one of those classes and try again and do better and feel success, because we want them to feel success. Remember, they may be feeling pretty horrible about the whole situation, and we want to make sure that they have the supports in place and that they're in a better position to move forward and continue to be successful. All right, we want to look at prioritizing those failed classes. We want to avoid overloading them with too many courses, too many challenging courses. This is an opportunity for them to reset, reevaluate, and retake those courses they need to take and move forward in the best way that they can, and build in possibly easier electives if needed so that they can have the right balance of success while they're retaking any courses. Your child needs to understand that if they need math tutoring, if they need writing support, they need to seek that help. They need to have tutoring hours or tutoring support or writing support built in to their weekly schedule. It's a non-negotiable. They need it. It will be helpful to them. Whatever it is that they need to understand that they're going to have to schedule it. They're going to have to work for it, and they will reap the rewards in the end. They're going to have to put the work into it and know that there are resources on campus to support them. Okay? So it's really important. Schedule the supports. Parents, I want to end by saying this. A failed class is not a moral failing, it's feedback. Let's think about it that way, okay? And trust me, as a mom, I know you have feelings, okay? I get it. Think of it like feedback. They went away to college and something happened, and there were some successes and maybe some unsuccessful attempts. And so this is information. It's a sign that something in the system or is just not quite working right now. And we need to figure out what's going on. And every year, countless students do recover from a rocky start. A rocky first semester doesn't mean that they won't be able to go on and thrive academically and emotionally. Your student can too. If you found this video helpful, subscribe and drop a comment. If you want a video specifically on any one of the topics that I discussed today, and I'm here to help, I'm on your side. You got this.